What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to YGO Podcast. It's Patrick here. We're going over another deck, and as you can see, we're going over the Rikka Sunavalon deck. And this deck has been a instrumental deck. I mean, in terms of where it came from and how it came out of nowhere, and just the fact that it just blew up when it took off. It won a YCS, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. This deck has been kind of on the back burner, especially last format in the tier format, and a lot of people have been keeping this deck as like their secret weapon. This deck has been instrumental in just saying like, hey, what yours, whatever is yours is also mine. Essentially, it takes your opponent's stuff and tributes it for either cost or tributes it for an effect, and your opponent has no way of stopping it, because a lot of the effects that go off tribute for cost, and they substitute your opponent's monsters or cards for cost, and that is just something that is a mechanic that cannot be stopped. Even if the effect is negated, the cost of attributing their monster still goes through. So without further ado, if you're new to the channel, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm always reading comments. I'm always looking for more people to give me feedback on my deck profiles. And also, we're growing the channels, guys. We're shooting for 500. We're sitting at like 309 subscribers. We can do a lot better than that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile. So essentially, this deck is free. A lot of this deck is going to be free, what we call free, right? So you're going to be running 3 Rikka Petal. Essentially, when this monster is face up on the field, you can take a plant monster and either add it to your hand or throw it in the graveyard. And when she's in the graveyard, she just can special summon herself, especially if all you're controlling is plant monsters. So that's very interesting, right? And then you're going to be running 3 Rikka Princess. So when Princess came out, Princess was I believe, the latest Rikka card that came out. Princess and I believe Rikka Con. This card essentially is just like Free City. So we're going to be running 3 of those. You can be running the standard 2 Mudon. If you're not running 2 Mudon, you're playing the deck wrong. All right. Then you're going to be running 2 Primula and then 1 Rikka Fairy. All right, so that's going to be kind of your standard lineup. Any other deck profiles, any other players who actually play this deck competitively, this is the lineup that they're going to have for this strategy. All right, plus or minus maybe a few other cards, but it's essentially going to be this lineup. Then you're going to be running 3 of your Rikka Glamour. Okay, so Rikka Glamour essentially tributes a card to, to search out a card. So it's pretty broken. That's going to be your search card. Your field spell is going to allow you to substitute your tributing for cost with your opponent's cards. So anytime you need to tribute once per turn, you tribute your opponent's shit. It's pretty good. Then you're going to be running your 1 Rikka sheet. So this is going to be pretty much your standard Rikka engine. This is how you're going to get down within the deck, and your opponent's going to be reading pretty much every one of your cards, because they're going to be saying, hey, wait, you can't tribute my stuff. And you're going to be like, yes, I can. So this is going to be your standard engine. This is how I choose to run it with my ratios. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get back over here. And we're going to be running with the next strategy in the deck. So the next strategy is going to be your Sunavalon strategy, okay? So your Sunavalon strategy is going to be essentially going to be running 3 Genus Loci. This is going to be your this card is just going to, it's not necessarily the card itself that does anything. It's the other effects that revolve around this card. So you have other effects that bring it back from the graveyard. And then once they bring it back from the graveyard, you can link it off with that monster that brought it back and itself. And then the next monster that comes out brings it back from the graveyard again. It's just kind of like, how can I put it? A Mayakashi type card. That's how I see it. Like, it just keeps bringing itself back for certain situations. Very decent card. and it's also a level 1 plant monster. Then you have to run the brick, and this brick just comes from certain other cards that you just need to have in order for you to facilitate a combo. You never want to draw that card. When you draw it, it's kind of a bad day. Then you're going to be running 2 of your Sunvine Sowings. I've seen some builds that are running like Sunvine Sowing at 1. They're wrong. You don't want to do that. You want to run it at 2 just because we need to see those cards, right? And then we're going to be running 3 Unexpected Die for this engine. And this is going to be like the card you want to see every single time. Like it's just free. When you get that Genus Loci on the field, it's like, okay, it's combo city, it's free city, it's, it's free 99. And then you're going to be playing 1 Lone Fire Blossom. Of course, it's another way to get to any of your Rikka cards, your Sunavalon cards, whatever the case may be. Right, and that's going to be pretty much all of your plant lineup. Everything else is going to be related to just kind of getting to certain cards, right, and your hand traps. So this is going to be it for the main strategy. Now let's get on to the side strategy. So of course, we're going to be running, we want to see Rikka Con always and forever, and we're going to be maximizing it. So we're going to be running 4 Rikka Con, right, and then of course, you're going to be running 3 Ash Blossom. Now, Ash Blossom is pretty busted. This Ash Blossom is always going to be busted. It just depends on what kind of format she's working in. Last format, Ash Blossom wasn't doing anything. This format, Ash Blossom is doing everything. Book of Eclipse, Triple Tactics Talon, Triple Tactics Thrust, Pot of Prosperity. Like, I mean, you can... Just so many cards that are just searching from the deck or adding from the deck to the hand, drawing cards. This card's just hitting it all format long. So you're going to run 3 of those. Then you're going to be running, speak of the devil, you're going to be running 2 Triple Tactics Talents yourself. Your opponent is going to definitely try to sideboard extremely hard against you and try and play on your turn to stop your tributing. So this is where, you go, yeah, gotcha, biatch, and then you're going to be playing a Triple Tactics Talent in there, and then you're going to take their stuff, or you're going to draw extra cards to then take more of their stuff anyway, right? So that's how we're going to do it. And then you're going to be playing 2 Enemy Controller, and this kind of goes extremely well with the deck itself, right? Like if you are tributing cards, right? You don't really care if you tribute your own, because that's really the theme of the deck. Now, if you tribute your own to take your opponent's stuff, then tribute their stuff. I mean, to tribute their stuff, to add stuff to your hand, or to special summon something. Now we're in tributeception. So this card right here is just there to help facilitate the tributeception for your opponent, and your opponent just kind of eat dirt while they're playing the game with you. Basically, they're going to be free. They'll be at table 500 probably by the end of the day. And then we're going to be running 1 Called by the Grave. And Called by the Grave is fairly standard, right? And I mean, if you're running Ash Blossom, your opponent is definitely running Ash Blossom. But who gets to use it determines who has Called by the Grave in their hand, right? So then we're going to be running 3 Infinite Impermanence. So Infinite Impermanence is what it is. It is still a very good card. It's the fact that it just negates the face-up card. It can also turn off a column and be used as a surprise. It makes it that much better as a card within this strategy. So yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for the main deck. Let's go ahead and move on to the extras. All right, so a lot of people have so many different ways to play this strategy. But for me, I choose to play it this way. You're going to be running 3 Sunavalon Dryas, all right? And Dryas is going to be your combo starter. Remember that Genus Loci I was telling you about? Well, that's how you're going to make this. It's a Link 1 monster. It's going to bring your Genus Loci back from the grave. It's going to allow you to do some extra stuff like Link Climb. That's essentially what your Genus Loci is there for. It's there to help you link climb into bigger and bigger and bigger monsters. Then you're going to be running one Sunvine Healer. Oh my goodness, I'm only running one. And that's because I'm running Sunvine Thrasher. And a lot of folks are like, oh my God, why aren't you running 2 and 2 or 2 of just one of them? And, to be honest, your opponent's not going to be able to even get monsters on the field as far as I'm concerned. Okay. As far as I'm concerned with this deck strategy, if your opponent's got, a giant macrocosmos on the field and all that other stuff, they're not going to stop you. Okay. They're not going to stop you. It doesn't matter what they do. They're not going to be able to stop you from tributing their stuff. Okay. So don't be afraid. Run the strategy how you want to run it, like as in a perfect scenario, and and proceed to send them, proceed to send them to table 500 where they need to be. And then you're going to be running to Aromatherapy Jasmine. This is one card that was bumped from 1 to 2, and I think that this bump is very worth it, just due to the nature of like the card. You're going to go into this card multiple times in a game. Some of these other cards are kind of like a once over, but definitely you're going to need to have Jasmine. All right. Dance Peony, it's still good at 1. Your opponent's not going to be like, oh, I need to rip this out of your extra deck. That's not a card that they're going to target. They're going to target some of your like boss monsters or monsters that are going to create problems for them. They're not going to look at Dance Peony and say, oh my God, I got to get rid of this thing. Then you're going to be running one Sunavalon Melius, right? And Melius is just your link 3 for your Sunavalon cards. He's not necessarily a big monster himself or does anything, but he does bring back your Genus Loci, and he helps you link climb into your Bangalancer, right? And Bangalancer is really how we get down in this deck, right? Then for the Exceeds, for the Rikka Exceeds, you're going to be running 2 Rikka Strena. A lot of people are like overdoing it and playing like 3 of these. Do not play 3 of those, okay? Please do not do it. I'm begging you. And then what you can do is you can run 2 Rikka Teardrop Cream. Now, I only have 1 of these, but we know that Maze of Memories came out, and these things are now CR, and they're I believe they're ultra within the set. So I will definitely have a chance to add it in. But for now, we're going to be running your Sacred Beast Hyperdion, and then we're going to be running a Zeus. Why not, right? Because if we haven't locked ourselves in the plants, then definitely we can swing when it exceeds monster, and then we can go into Zeus. And now Zeus is, going to be however many materials he's going to be. We got a free board wipe. So why not play a Zeus within the strategy? So as far as Sunavalon, Rikka, and everything goes, this deck is an amazing deck. It is a YCS winning deck. The strategy itself is very hard to counter. I say if you're going to play this deck, give it your all. Play it the best you can. Modify whatever you need to modify. Your flex spots, which is basically your hand traps. Modify those for whatever format you're playing in. And yeah, man, have some fun. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe. And if you didn't like this video, freaking don't hit the unlike button, but still comment and still subscribe to give me a chance to give you another video that you like. But other than that, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you for joining the conversation. I'm hoping to see you at the next one. And yeah, man, that's it. That's all I got for you. Peace.